You already have everything that you need in order to create, experience, or be whatever you desire. And if you don't seemingly have what you think you need, it's because you don't need it. This is just another trick of the mind, of the ego, to keep you buying into the reality of lack, limitation, fear, linearity, as if I have this or get this, then I can be here and do this, and that will lead to this. It's simply not true. And it's just a way that we keep ourselves stuck in this paradigm of limited possibilities, of narrow scope, asking ourselves, well, how? How is it possible? How am I going to do it? This question of how is the ultimate self-sabotaging question. And in truth, it's the only question that makes no sense. It's the most common question, but it has the least sense to it. When you were a child, especially younger than the age of 5, the question of how never arose. You had a desire. You felt the desire. You felt the joy, the inspiration, the creativity of the desire. You were compelled to act on the desire. You didn't need to know how. It was an adventure. There was no certainty needed. There was no planning needed. You didn't need to prepare for it. You felt it, you acted on it, and you allowed it to unfold. And in the unfolding, in the action, yes, there were twists and turns and different ways of going and, seeming mistakes along the way, but all of that was the how unfolding. The knowledge of that in advance is just fear. The need to know is just fear. It's control. And that's the currency of the ego. And nobody wins when the ego gets control. Because then you're waiting and procrastinating and holding yourself back from everything that you want only because you've got narrow focus on a very limited possibility as to how you think all of this can unfold. Whether it's a business that you want to create, whether it's travel that you want to do, whether it's a project that you want to build, whether it's anything that you want to experience, when you define it narrowly as to this is needed in order for me to do this or create this or experience this, then you have literally taken the infinite possibilities of life, of reality, and said no to this and no to this and no to this and no to this, and this is what's needed. And life is just laughing because it's like, well, actually you could have bumped shoulders with this person, you could have found this synchronicity or opportunity online, or you could have had a creative thought which would have taken a detour around what you think you need in order to get where you want to be or create what you want to create. But you're going to now put blinders on and remove that as a possibility. And that's a damn shame, because that sucks the life out of this moment. It separates you from the truth of who you are, of the infinite creative potential that you are. And really, it saps the joy and the fun out of the adventure, right? Because now we're stuck in waiting mode and procrastination, which just breeds doubt, breeds insecurity, breeds second guessing. And this over planning, over analyzing, overthinking, over preparing, trying to get everything right. It's all fear, it's all control. And that's because we're worried about failing, worried about the consequences, worried about getting rejected, we're worried about the mistakes we make along the way, all of which is the richness of the journey. It's all the learning, it's all the growth, it's all actually needed in order for the highest form of that manifestation, that experience, that transformation, in order to be all that it's meant to be. But we undermine that, overlook that, and in a way reject that when we focus narrowly on one thing that we think is needed in order to have whatever it is that we desire. And you see, that's why I said at the beginning, you already have everything that you need to experience whatever you desire, because you are the creator of your reality. And when you are not aligned with your mind and the ego and that limited, separate sense of self, which exists out of fear, out of lack, out of limitation, Then you open up to the possibilities of your true self, of the interconnectedness, of the infinite truth of nature, of life itself. And now you are at the receiving mode, right? You are in that receptive mode where everything can come to you and you can be like a child again. Because the desire that I'm speaking of, it's not coming from your mind, right? It's coming from the deepest part of who you truly are. And that means it's coming from who you truly are. You're only aware of it because it's already done. It's already within you. It's already possible for you. And then the mind comes in and claims it, and the ego tries to define it and control it. And then, in a way, you undermine it. In a way, you sabotage it. And you sap out or you limit the possibilities that are going to serve you, the path of least resistance that you can slip into, that will carry you and support you and provide for you in ways that you cannot imagine. That's why it's so important when you're feeling in and opening up and acting on your desire to drop all insistence and expectation that you think you know how it needs to go and what you think is needed in order to get there, to create that, to build that, to have that, to experience that. Because that, again, is just fear. It's just control. It's just limitation. And when you can let go of these things, when you can open up to all that you are, then you live life like a child, like playing, like on an adventure. And then you're looking everywhere, right? You're curious, you're open, you're looking around the corner like expecting miracles, right? You're just anticipating magic because you know that it's coming, because you know that life is serving you, conspiring in your favor. And I know you know this. You've experienced this so many times, but we have been conditioned and taught to believe that we have to be the one to make it happen, to figure it out, right? And action is needed. Action is absolutely essential, but the action that I'm talking about does not come from the ego, does not come from the mind. It is like an automatic doing. It is like a non-action. It is like a compulsion. It is so natural and inherent in the desire that you will find yourself moving towards that before you're even aware of anything that you think you need in order to do that. Any sort of how that's needed to be understood in order for you to even take that first step. You see, it's the thinkingness that interferes out of fear with what we desire. And in truth, thinking, the thinkingness, the overthinking is the only problem that there is. You think that you need money to do this, to go here, to create this, to build this, when you don't. You only need your creativity. And that's the good news because you are creativity. You are that freedom. You are that boundless imagination. You are that inspiration if you only allow yourself to feel it, to open up to it, to receive it, and to act on it. And when you drop the insistence as to what you think is needed and where it's going to go and what happens next, and if it's not happening, then I need to wait and I need to, all this doubt, insecurity, distrust, disbelief, it's all just fear, my friends. And so we come into this world with knowing this so well. We know it so well that we don't even intellectually understand it. We just live it. We embodied it. We come into this world at the height of our success, at the height of our embodiment of source, of our higher self, of the truth, of possibility itself, because we are pure imagination. And that, unfortunately, gets drowned out the more we give significance to the world, to the opinions of others, to the authority figures, to the people who have done it, who say that it has to go this way. You, my friend, are the way. You have everything that you need, and there's nothing holding you back except for yourself. So you need only know yourself, accept yourself, love yourself, trust yourself, because everything is already within you. And every time that we entertain the control of the mind, every time we buy into the fear and the doubt, every time we distrust that desire, that impulse, every time we hesitate on the action that we are compelled to take, we sabotage this direct connection to the infinite intelligence that is the pure inspiration and imagination of our true self. And so allow yourself to be like a child. Act on your desires. Forget about what you think you need. Just play. Just answer the call to adventure. Step into the unknown and live true to who you are. You will amaze yourself, and it will go much further than you could ever have thought it would, ever planned or prepared that it could, when you allow yourself to be swept up in that desire, carried in that feeling, and fulfilled in the process, in the action, in the unfolding, without any expectation, but just the joy of being, becoming, creating, and playing.